Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Joe O'Malley, Thematic and Specialty Strategist, ETFs and Indexed Strategies at Invesco, to discuss the water economy and what it means for the businesses that support it. Joe, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thank you.
And as global populations and economies continue to grow, so have concerns over water scarcity. What does this mean for companies in the water industry?
Well, I think first off, it makes for a tremendous opportunities for those that are involved. If you just look at the makeup of water across the globe, 71% of the Earth's surface is made up of water. However, only 3% of that is deemed to be fresh water. And making matters even more complex, only about 0.5% of the world's water is fresh water that's actually accessible. So the majority of it's actually locked up in glaciers or in things like ocean water. So that's certainly going to create, that creates a water scarcity issue. And, I think it's one that can certainly be addressed. There are certain areas that are limited geographically in terms of water. However, there are those like you'll find in Southeast Asia where the freshwater supply is plentiful. However, those water sources have been largely compromised due to things like industrialization.
What are some of the issues being addressed in the water industry today?
Well, I think one of the biggest and most basic is water infrastructure. So I think Mexico City provides a pretty good example. It's a city that is built on an aquifer, and what we've seen over time is the depletion of that aquifer, and obviously if things don't change, more water is being taken out than is coming in to fill it up. It could eventually run dry, and a day zero event could potentially happen there. So, we're in an area where infrastructure certainly plays a big role. It's estimated that 40% of the water that flows through their municipal water system is actually lost due to leakage. Solving that can certainly go a long way in solving an issue like that. I mentioned before some of the issues in Southeast Asia. If you look at China, 70% of their water table is compromised. In India, 70% of their surface water is compromised. So things like water treatment really grow in importance, especially in areas like that have growing populations, that have been these industrialized nations, but are going to need the clean water sources. And then lastly, flooding is an issue that we've seen. We've certainly seen it in various cases across the U.S. However, if you look globally, just last year in Pakistan, they had a massive flood that ended up in tremendous destruction and tremendous loss of life in those events. So things like climate change and poor urban planning were real big contributors to events like that.
How can technology help to solve water scarcity?
Yeah, so I mentioned water treatment. That could certainly go a long way. You've seen companies like A.O. Smith, I think, is a pretty good example. They're known largely for things like water heaters, efficient water heaters here. But they've also opened up a business in China to specifically address water treatment. Water efficiency is certainly going to be another one. I mentioned some of those infrastructure issues that exist. And then lastly, AI is another area that we're seeing increased usage within the water industry, and can certainly be helpful on a number of fronts, whether that's weather prediction, enhanced water conservation, or for local municipalities monitoring the quality of their water and the flow of the water.
And finally, Joe, what strategies does Invesco offer to support the sustainability theme?
Yeah, so here at Invesco, we offer 3 different water strategies. The first is the Invesco Water Resources ETF, ticker PHO. This is based on the Nasdaq OMX US Water Index, and it includes companies that offer products and services that contribute to, or that help to conserve and purify water. Additionally, we have the Invesco Global Water ETF, which is kind of the sister product to that portfolio, but it takes more, includes more international companies in that as well. So if you'd like more global exposure with that technology type focus, that can be a good option as well. And then the last one is the Invesco S&P Global Water Index ETF. That's based on the S&P Global Water Index. And that one, I would describe that one as more of a water infrastructure type play that invests globally.
All right, Joe, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.